All right, I think we're good to go, guys. I see live streaming. I see that we're recording. I think we're ready to rock and roll here. So, all right, let's give you guys an update on last night, what we got done with NSI. I'm gonna bring this over. We got two different charting systems that that we use. So one is we call the nSights system, which all of the break-even points and stuff are going to be on. There's things that we needed to fix on that. The scrolling wasn't quite right. We got the scrolling fixed last night. That is done. The zooming in still needs to be fixed. I think that'll be done tonight, but we got the scrolling done. The 1 week and 1 month candles look beautiful. Those are getting done or done. I saw those today. They're working very, very good. The other thing that next thing we had on my list for last night was being able to take trades and have it hold the current value. We had too much slippage between Pancake, Swap, MetaMask, and us. Don't know if that is done yet or not. I'm going to be testing that in a little bit, but they did not write down on the charts because we weren't able to test it yet. Break-even points. The break-even point, they got done. I added another task to the break-even though today, which will make the break-even points more clearer and easier to understand. And so that it's a simple fix that will definitely be done tonight. The trade dots, I added the ability on the trade dots, depending on what size your screen is and how much you're zoomed in or zoomed out. For me, the trade dots were very hard to see. Those are your actual trades. I added today to that list to be able to select between small, medium, and large dots. And so hopefully that'll be done here in the next night or so, but I wanted that to be easier to see for everybody. So, because that's really important when we get to the point when we can select those dots on screen. Now, the first version won't be selecting them on screen. We have another whole section that the trades can be selected. That's done. That's working very, very well. The cost averaging between the dots and the break-even points, I think are looking great. But I want a little bit more work done there so that, again, like I said, we can select the trade. I don't think that'll be in first version. The COT whales, we didn't get that done last night the way that I wanted to. Market caps are calculating correctly now. We did get that done last night, and I like that. Your dream percentage, when you go into NSI, for any token that you're trading, you can set a dream target for that token. The verbiage was really not written correctly for the traders to understand, because they had your dream target percent of goal like 4,000%. Really what that was percent away from goal. So we were rewording that, but we added something today to that also. I'm adding a toggle to that so that you can select what percent you've made so far. So like if I have $1 million target for NSI, I want to get out and I'm at 4% of that goal. I can see that I'm 4% of that goal, but I can also toggle and know that I'm 4,000% away from that goal. And I wanted it both ways so that when you set those targets as a trader and trying to set realistic expectations of your goals, if you set a target and you go, it's 83,000% away, depending on the coin, that could be realistic, right? That may be possible. There are coins that have made 25,000+ % moves, right? And over time, that, if we look at Bitcoin and stuff, when it hits its numbers over time, that could be totally realistic, but you need to know that. you need to know that number, and then you need to decide whether that is something that you want to do long-term and that you're able to do that. So I want both of those numbers in the in that ability to see your dream target. So that so that's being done. We reworded the in the top, we have a section that sets up for how much of your coins are currently in target. It's a quick view of your balance, and you're above the break even and below the break even point. Excuse me. We changed that terminology. That is done, and we added the ability to hover over the abbreviations so that it'll pop up and actually tell you what that abbreviation means. So again, that'll make it easier for the traders to understand what's going on. That's done. And we're adding also, now the next thing that we have is we're adding the ability to see the current liquidity. We didn't have that on the chart, meaning the liquidity of the coin that you're looking at. And that's extremely important for new coins that are coming out, because if we have a coin that has say a $50 million market cap, but they only have $100,000 in liquidity, and there are a ton of tokens like this that have very high market caps with very low liquidity, very, very, very dangerous coins to get involved in. We need to know those numbers. So I added last night, and this is 50% done, according to the programmers, the ability for them to pull up all of the pools of liquidity so that we can see how much liquidity is locked and what is really being held by that token, so that we know that it's safe. 50% done on that. Some of the messaging on setting your dream target was incorrect. We got that fixed. That is done. Let's see here. Things that we're adding. There's a number of tasks that we've added so far today. Most of it around the amount of tokens that you currently hold, and for some of us that, and this will happen on launches. So this becomes an important way, or important thing that we need to track. When we do a pre-launch, that's off chain. I mean, that's really, we don't see that under usually the normal contract. When we launched nSights, there was a couple of intermediate contracts that we launched on, and then it finally went to the main contract, and it was a transfer to that main contract. When you see a transfer to the main contract, transfer by admin, it usually says in your BSC scan, nobody knows what you bought those at. And so, and we're not sure, well, the key is we don't know what, at least from BSC scan side, we don't know what those were bought at. And so in terms of calculating profitability, we're trying to deal with the ability to be able to set that price that you bought it at, or be able to at least give you the ability to get close to that price so that you know what your overall profitability is. We're working on that. Okay. Let's see, today, that's that part. The dots I covered. One of the other things it was doing that I don't want it to do, when you clicked on your break-even point on the chart, if the break-even point was either above or below the current view of the chart, meaning that the price for break-even, so maybe your break-even's way down low and you're way in profit already. Or maybe you've got a lot of trades in a down market and you're waiting for it to come back, and your break-even is above the current view of the chart. When we clicked on that, it would pop up that error See, it said error break-even point not within chart range. It's not an error. I don't want error to pop up. So I redesigned that today. That'll be going in tonight, and it'll have a box. It'll pop up what the current break-even price is on whatever chart you're looking at in terms of if you're above or below. But it'll have an arrow on it. So it'd like have a red arrow if the market is, if break-even is above, so you're currently negative, but I have a red arrow up telling you that your break-even point is above your current view. And if you are in a lot of profit, the box will have an arrow pointing down, blue arrow pointing down, meaning that your break-even point is below where you are and you're already in profit. And if you wanted to see that break-even line, then you could zoom in and out. But I want you to immediately know whether your break-even point is above or below where you currently are. That got turned in today. That'll start being worked on tonight. We'll see when they get that done. I redesigned the break-even box that actually pops up, so it's easier to read and easier to understand because there's multiple elements to it. It has your break-even point, which they had at the bottom of the box. I moved that to the top so that immediately you know where the line is and where your break-even point is. They had your tokens in profit, but they had it worded differently, so you really didn't know what that was. So we reworded that. It's tokens in profit. It's the total number of tokens that you have that are in profit. Then it's tokens in profit break-even point, which was a little bit confusing for not only me but for other people. What that meant they had profit tokens break-even point. Not sure what that meant. Reworded that to tokens in profit break-even point. So what we wanted to know when we're looking at break-even was the tokens that I have that are in profit, what was their break-even point, or what is, so I know how far above that break-even point I am. Helps me understand those tokens. And then the value of tokens in profit, they just had a number, simply added a $ to that. So like mine here is showing 59,000 in profit. And so I wanted to know that, what that number was, whether it was a number of tokens or actual dollars. It's dollars. So I cleaned that up. That's going to start looking very, very nice. And so that is it for right now in terms of the things that we got done last night and just the things that we've added so far today. And I'll have more that I'll be adding today. What I'm working on today is all the tokens have different taxes, and sometimes there's different fees being charged also. So I'm going through BSC Scan today and giving the programmers a number of examples of the transaction fees, the gas fees, and other things like that, so that we can really work on an average fee cost and try to get a handle on how we want to show that and how we want to track that. Because right now, the way that the system is set up, it's tracking, is just tracking the trade itself. I need it reducing the taxes, any taxes paid, and any fees paid. And so I know what your cost basis for that actual transaction was. And we can actually then, when you go to sell it, before you sell it, we also need to calculate the taxes so that you really know what your net profit is really going to be. And so we're going to be doing that. One of the other things that was a big deal today was when you set your target, your dream target for the overall token. Let's say you had 10 billion tokens, right? And let's say your dream target was $1 million for those 10 billion tokens. If I don't ever sell any of my tokens, then I'm okay, because that target will stay true to that number or that goal that it needs to reach to get me to that $1 million. But as soon as I sell, say 2 million or 2 billion of my 10 billion tokens, now I have 8 billion tokens. Two things are going to happen. I'm going to sell the 2 billion tokens and I'm going to end up with some BNB. And this becomes very, very complicated. And I'll tell you what we decided we're going to do. But I'm going to end up with some BNB. Whatever that BNB value was at that moment you sold on the blockchain recorded, we're going to tag that. And that's going to be tagged as your profit or loss, depending on where you sold it. But tagged, let's say, as your profit, hopefully, tagged as your profit for that trade. Now, I have 2 billion less tokens to still hit my $1 million goal. Okay, so I say when I had 10 billion tokens, I was 500% away from hitting that target. So it took a 500% move up for me to get to that $1 million with 10 billion tokens. Okay. As soon as I sold 2 billion of those tokens, now I only have 8 billion to still get to that $1 million mark. So instead of 500% away, maybe I'm 700% away or 750% away from that target now, less the profit that I've already taken. Okay, so that's the 2 billion that I sold, less that will give me a new percentage that I have to reach to get to that target. It can get very complicated beyond that because you sold it to BNB. We looked at, well, what if BNB went up while you held your BNB? What if it went down while you held your BNB? What if you sold your BNB when it went down? Or what if you sold that BNB when it went up that was part of that trade? What did we do? We figured out that really all we're going to track at this point, because we don't know when you're going to sell your BNB that you took out on that trade. All we know what is true is what you did at the time of that transaction. So everything's going to be tagged to that transaction. So if you sold some, whatever the price of the BNB was at that moment will be the moment that we're using to calculate those goals. Whether BNB went up and down in volume is not going to be relevant to what we're tracking, because it could have done anything. You could have sold it out, bought something different, put it in Digibot, and then it went up. You know, there's so many variables that can happen after that very first transaction or that very first sell. So I'll be teaching that. That'll be part of our clarity, but we are working on those numbers to make sure that we get at least to that first level tracked very correctly, and that you guys know what's going on with your trades. So I think that's going to be a huge deal. Let's see here. I talked about that. There was an issue with the break even button. Once you clicked on it, it stayed blue. And then if you clicked on it again, it's still blue, but you're thinking you're going to see the break even line, but the second click actually turned it off. That should be fixed tonight. That I talked about. And I talked about what we're doing with the taxes and stuff today. Guys, that is it for the AMA today. I'll look and see if there's any questions. It looks like there's one.
Yeah,
When will we be
just
able
the
to
one.
Yeah. I'm linking my wallet right now. As soon as I know that what's happening is because of the slippage, I'll buy the same, I'll do the same trade on nSights, and then I'll do it directly on PancakeSwap. I'm receiving more tokens when I'm on PancakeSwap because of the slippage we're receiving. So until I know that slippage is taken care of, and you're getting the same amount of tokens, whether you transact on PancakeSwap or you transact on nSights, I won't turn it on because I don't want you to lose tokens in that transaction. But I'll be testing that part today. They worked on that last night. That may be done. I just can't guarantee it yet until I work on that. We've been on call all morning going through more and more stuff that we're just fine tuning. So ultimately, you know, as we roll things out, our goal is that we're a premium trading platform. It needs to feel, act, and be a premium trading platform. And so we're getting very close to that. And again, we're meeting every day as a whole team, programming team, and the team here in the US. And we're hammering these things to just get everything cleaned up and make it an exciting product for you guys. So I know it's frustrating for some people that it's taken so long. My only thing is if you haven't ever done a project at this magnitude, I can tell you, just talking to you about what to do with BNB is a fraction of the complexities of what we do when building a piece of software like this. And to make it right for you guys takes a tremendous amount of effort and concentration on a lot of people's parts to get it right. It's not just throwing a piece of software up there. Maybe you're a programmer, maybe you could do it better. I don't know. We've got 25 people working on this. It's pretty tough. But if you can, then maybe you want to join the team. I don't know. So I just hope you guys are patient because we're doing everything we can to make sure your experience is super positive with NSI. And we'll continue to do that over the next week or so as we do these AMAs every day. All right, I think that was it, or unless you
I have one quick announcement, Doug. So if any of you are in the beta tester group in Microsoft Teams, please go check the latest message. There is a message in there for you.
Perfect. Yeah, I think we're going to have a call.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you. We're going to have another AMA tomorrow, guys. Keep updating you. Keep signing up for the free. Go in, play with it. It's running. It's out there, but every day it's going to get better. So you'll see as we move forward. So thanks everybody. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Take care.